Good evening, and welcome to the International Great Black Read Aloud Day 2025. We are so excited to be here with you tonight. We are coming in a little late tonight on first day, but we're just glad we made today, honestly. So, especially with it being a Saturday, I had grand hopes for today, but things went a little differently today. We're so glad that we're here and that we are here to kick off what is our fifth year of Reading Aloud here at the International Great Black Read Aloud Day, where we are giving voice to words written by Black people all around the world. And so we are excited to start off this year's session, and it's motivational today. And we did a little swap. I'd already had, the selection, but I decided that probably should switch the days, and it seemed very apropos considering everything that we've encountered here in the past couple of weeks. So we do hope that you have been having a wonderful day, you're having a wonderful weekend, wherever you are in the world, and um, we're just so glad you're tuned in. We want to remind you that you're able to follow us subscribe to our YouTube channel, the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. Um, and you can follow us on Facebook, wherever you're seeing us. And so we're going to get right into our reading because it is a little late tonight, and we want to give you something good to go to sleep with, something to think about. And so today is motivational, and I guess I should go back and say my name is LD Robinson, and I am your reader tonight. And um, I really am just super excited to be here. I'm always amazed that our plan for doing one day turned into a whole month. And we have read so many different selections. We have discovered new authors, and it just keeps it's very exciting. And so we're glad that you are joined here with us. Well, our selection for tonight is Live Free by Devon Franklin, and we're going to read a portion of this, and it's Live Free, Exceed Your Highest Expectations. Okay. And we're going to read just a few pages from the introduction because I think they are rather profound in that sense. And it is called Are You Living Free? When I discover who I am, I will be free. That is Ralph Ellison. You want to fly? You got to give up the shit that weighs you down. Toni Morrison, the great Toni Morrison. As I write this in the summer of 2020, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Isolation, loneliness, and despair are exploding. Our lives have forever been impacted in ways beyond our control. Jobs, businesses, homes, lives, and livelihoods are being lost. At the same time, there's a groundswell against the systemic racism and inequality at the foundation of our country. Tensions are at a fever pitch as this call for greater compassion and equity grows to a deafening level. Sounds familiar. We're in 2025. Debts are rising, disappointments are mounting, hope is waning. We are losing our sense of self and where we fit in the world. Dreams are dashed, hearts are troubled. This is not what we expected. And yet, these issues are not completely new. Our current troubles are only exacerbating what we are already feeling anxious, exhausted, stressed, and disconnected from ourselves and the people we care about the most. Before our normal lives were halted, most of us were doing too much and paying for it as we tried to live up to the cultural ideal that everyone should be grinding. Then we felt like we had to be too busy in order to be successful. Now we're caught somewhere in the middle, unsure where to go from here or how to rebuild. You may be wondering, how do I survive? How do I make it through? How do I live the life I feel destined to live in the face of so many factors seemingly out of my control? You are not alone. I've pondered the exact same questions. I've sought answers in the name of greater personal freedom and happiness, and I've made some startling discoveries. Even before the pandemic began, I had a realization about the key to getting the most out of life. And now, as our world has been turned upside down, this discovery has proven even more urgent. Here's what I have come to know: unmanaged expectations lead to an unhappy life. This is the true secret that no one is talking about. One of the reasons why we have so much difficulty isn't life itself, is what we have expected from life up until now, and how upset we have been when our expectations did not come to pass. The people who seek advice from me almost always complain about how miserable they are because of something that hasn't happened yet. That's one of the main problems with expectations. They keep us from living in the present, enjoying the process, and appreciating what we do have. Instead, we obsess over what we don't have. We're too busy focusing on what we expect to receive, whether it has any basis in reality or not. Or we're too hung up on the pain of past disappointment. Our focus goes to where it shouldn't be, on other people and situations outside of ourselves. That distracts us from taking full accountability for our own choices and contentment. Instead of maximizing the time that does exist, the present, we outsource our happiness, satisfaction, and peace to a time that doesn't yet exist, the future. Oh, when I get this job, or when this promotion happens, or when I get married, then I'll be happy. Newsflash: if you're not happy now, you won't be happy then. You may not even be aware that you're not reacting to actual events of your life. Instead, you're reacting to your expectations of what you thought should have happened, what didn't happen, or what could have happened. Let's to be honest, if this is you, and hey, I was guilty of this too, then there's a hard truth. As of right now, you aren't in control. Your expectations are running your life, maybe even ruining your life. Gallup's annual Global Emotions Report for 2019 once again found America to be among the most stressed out countries in the world. 55% of those polled had felt stressed out during the day, and the global average was still high at 35%. And this was before the pandemic. How many people's lives have been misspent or wasted because they're living according to the expectations of their parents, their friends, their church, their spouse, or anyone else, instead of what they feel called to do in their heart? Too many. Maybe you know deep down as you read this that you've fallen into this trap too. Don't worry, I'm here to help you. By the time you finish this book, you will be living according to the life you've been called to live, not the expectations anyone else has put upon you. For me, it all came into focus when I examined my own life and the areas in which I sometimes struggled and asked myself if my expectations were contributing to my unhappiness. I looked at anywhere I was experiencing some discontent, such as certain aspects of my career, certain aspects of my marriage, or personal goals I hadn't achieved yet. I'd ask myself the question: what is the source of my unhappiness? This analysis was incredibly powerful. It was like sliding on a pair of glasses. I immediately realized I was being burdened by extraneous expectations, and I wasn't even aware of many of them. As I reflected on all of this, I understood it wasn't an issue of me not doing enough, or not being good enough, or not receiving enough. My expectations of myself, of other people, of circumstances, of situations were not managed or set. And so my expectations were weighing me down. Next, I applied this lens to the people who'd been coming to me for help with their lives and careers. I saw that they had unrealistic ideas about that promotion they wanted, or about how their hard work would be rewarded in comparison to their peers. Or they'd been dating someone for years and they had the unrealistic idea about this person changing. Their disappointment when these things didn't come to pass as they'd hoped was eating them up inside. It was preventing them from seeing the aspects of their life that they did like and could control. And then I looked around me at our country and why we're in the shape we're in. Maybe we haven't set our expectations properly. By that, I don't mean that we shouldn't rely on certain protections and assistance from our government. We should. But sometimes when we have an expectation, we may absolve ourselves of the responsibility to make sure it gets done. Maybe we need to stop automatically expecting our elected maybe we need to stop automatically expecting our elected officials to do their jobs. Instead, we must hold them accountable and become the change we want to see. Are you living free? Living free. Isn't that what we all want, really? To be free? Free from the burdens and stress of trying to live up to or down to what others expect from us. Free from the prison of negative thoughts and self talk that keeps us feeling trapped. Free from the anxiety that we aren't going to succeed. For you, living free may seem so far from your current reality that you're not sure it's even possible or what it could entail for that matter. To live free means you are not under the mental, physical, or emotional control of anyone or anything. You live according to the expectations you choose. For too long, you've been giving your power away to people, circumstances, and situations. It's time to take your power back, which you do by making the commitment to live free. Living free is about taking on fewer burdens, having fewer obstacles that block your joy, thinking clearly, feeling happier, worrying a lot less or not at all about what other people think of you, and being fully content to be yourself, not who everyone expects you to be. Of course, for each individual, freedom will be a different experience. You get to define what living free looks like for you, and it is always a wonderful blessing when you do. Now that I've given you a taste of the greater freedom that's waiting for you, imagine for yourself, how would it feel if I were really free? Would my life be anything like the one I am living today? Who would I be if I chose to be my true self? Well, prepare to live out your answers to these questions, starting right now. To live free, you need to cast off as many expectations as possible and to set those that remain. This process will help you become crystal clear on your expectations and better at managing them properly. You will see a tremendous improvement in all areas of your life. After assessing and possibly letting go of the illusions and false goals that have been contributing to your dissatisfaction, you can properly set your expectations and live more in a time of less. Setting expectations simply requires asking yourself two critical questions, which you'll learn about in the pages that follow. Is it a realistic or unrealistic expectation? Is it a spoken or unspoken expectation? I will teach you how to understand what's realistic versus unrealistic, and what's the difference between a spoken and an unspoken request. Yes, this process will require some tough conversations with yourself, and quite possibly with the people closest to you, but the benefits are immediate and great. This journey will help you become clear about who you really are, not who you're expected to be, what you really value, and what you truly want out of your life, which will allow you to live the life you actually choose for yourself in the here and now. As I've applied these truths to my own life, they have made a radical difference in my stress level, happiness, and overall disposition. They helped me become more flexible and accepting of changes in my life that previously would have been upsetting. I've discovered that once your expectations are set properly, the stage is set for the life you've always wanted and deserved. My deepest prayer that this book will be very healing for you. I pray it will lead you to a freer, more contented, more grateful you, and not in some far off future, but right here and now, right inside of you, where your happiness has been waiting for you all along. Set yourself free. There are four main areas in your life where expectations come into play. Personal, these are the expectations of yourself. Cultural, your expectations of your culture and the culture's expectations of you. Relational, your expectations of others and others' expectations of you. Professional, your expectations of your career and your job's expectations of you. To live more freely, you will have to gain control in all of these areas. To do so, you must evaluate each and every one of your expectations and determine where it came from. If it doesn't serve you, you must let it go. By doing so, you will release yourself from its grip. Do this again and again and again until you're left with only the expectations of your choosing. Then, any expectations you do keep must be set carefully. Make sure these expectations are realistic and communicate them to anyone else who might need to agree to meet them. Then, and only then, when your expectations be set properly. This right here is the secret to a happier life, and it works. This has been part of our selection for tonight, which is motivational. It's Motivational Day. It's also World Read Aloud Day. And so we are excited to start off today with our selection from Mr. Devon Franklin, Live Free. Um, how to exceed your highest expectations. It says exceed your highest expectations, and it's our motivational piece for today. And it's about setting our expectations for our lives and making sure that any expectations that come from other sources are really ones that we want to keep. And this is something that I have to say that for myself is something that I work with and continually work with because um, I do sometimes have a hard time saying no. And so this has been a very helpful book. And so it is certainly something that I recommend you read. We want to remind you that here at TIGBRAD, we read for educational purposes, and it is simply to educate the world about all the various diverse types of literature that are available, that is available to us across the African diaspora. And so, with that being said, we read authors from all different types of nations. We've read Nigerian authors, we've read Jamaican authors, we've read authors from all different types of countries. We only read Black authors, so that's because that's what we're doing. We're giving voice to words written by Black people all around the world. And so here at TIGBRAD, you're able to go to our page and get our reading list from our previous years, and you will see a variety of authors from all different types of genres. We read from um, all major genres and quite a number of subgenres of literature. And there is someone African American, or of Black, someone Black, I should say, um, from across the world who has written something on some subject. And so it's always nice when we are researching to find out what's available to us. And that's from farming to gardening to motivational to romance to you name it. There's something out there that we have written. And so we are delighted to keep bringing these selections to you. We want to invite you to read along with us. As we always do, please don't be shy. Simply tag it with TIGBRAD 2025. And we're going to progress through this fifth year, and we're believing we're going to do all 28 days this year. We say that every year, and so I am working to protect my voice this year, so that we are able to get all the way through our reading list this year. We have some great selections for you this year, and we believe that you will be motivated to tune in um, daily. for our readings, for our read alouds. And so our website is temporarily down, so I don't have the information up because it is undergoing a reboot right now. And so we are designing, we've had the same look for a while. And so give it a little freshen it up a little bit. So it'll be back online here midweek next week because we're in the midst of getting some of our other client stuff up and running, but ours is coming next. And so we're going to give it a little tune up and freshen it up and give you something different to look at. All right. And so that will be up midweek. But in the meantime, you can certainly visit our YouTube channel and visit our Facebook page and keep abreast of what we are doing. So we will see you tomorrow. It won't be this late, I promise you. Um, we'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day. And tomorrow is Loss, Grief, and Transition. And so we're going to give you something that will help you make the transition, help you um, be motivated to make your way through the process of loss, grief, and transition. And so we'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of the International Great Black Read Aloud Day, as we like to call it, TIGBRAD. And this is the 2025 edition, our 5th year, and I'm amazed and grateful to all of you for tuning in and listening and following. And so we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you are in the world. And remember that we're always out here. We're giving voice to words written by Black people all around the world. Have a good day.